Hello dear guys. Today we are going to discuss about the reproduction in lower animals and in human beings. Throughout the chapter we are going to see about certain main points such as various methods of reproduction in animals, human male and female reproductive system, in that male genital organs and accessory glands that help in the reproduction, female genital organs and hormones, uh, and then later in that we are also going to see about the female reproductive cycle, which is also called as menstrual cycle. uh, we'll see about the gametogenesis, in that spermatogenesis in males and oogenesis in females, fertilization, embryology, parturition, and reproductive health. So let's discuss about what is the reproduction, or how one can define the reproduction. So in first point we can see that reproduction is the formation of new life from the pre-existing life. Okay, so formation of new life from pre-existing similar life, the word similar should have to be added over there. Okay, so formation of new life from the pre-existing similar life, this is the reproduction. That means the new life that is going to form, it will come from pre-existing life. Okay, new life is not coming from any other planet or from the sky or from the water, etc., etc. It will form from the pre-existing similar life. Second point, the young one that are formed, they appears like their parents. Definitely, the young ones or the offsprings that will produce, they will look like their parents. We know that when we talk about the sheep, the male of sheep is called as ram and the female is called as ewe. Okay, so when they reproduce, they will form or they will produce the young one that is called as the lamb. So that lamb definitely would be like ram and ewe, okay, in whole appearance. If we talk about the puppy of the dog and beach, the male in dog is called as dog and the female is called as beach, and their young one is called as puppy. So the puppy that is produced by the dog and beach after their reproduction, that puppy will appear same like their parents. Similarly, in case of human beings also, we know that the young one that is produced, that young one look like the parents. Okay, we can never say that the humans gives birth to the young one and that young one it appears like dogs or cats, etc., etc. So the second point is very important, the young ones that are formed, they appears like their parents. Third point, continuation of species and maintains continuity of life. So what reproduction actually does, it helps in the continuation of the species. The species continues due to the reproduction. Okay, and the continuity of life is also maintained by the reproduction. So how we can say that there is a continuation of species? Because we can say that we born and we die. After our death, can we say that the species of human being is finished? No, because what we are doing throughout our life, okay, as we are produced by our parents by the process of reproduction, someday we will also get married and we will also give birth to young ones, and these young ones, they will carry our genes and they will perpetuate the species. So this is a continuation of the species or perpetuation of the species, and that maintains the continuity of life. Fourth point, due to reproduction, any species can last for longer time period despite of their short or limited lifespan. We know that the lifespan of human beings, the average lifespan of human beings, it may be 70 to 80 years. Okay, but within these 70 to 80 years of the humans, does all the species of the human beings finish or ends? No. We know that the lifespan of cheetah is 10 years, the lifespan of dog is 20 years, the lifespan of cow is 20 years, the lifespan of horse near about average 35 years. So this is the limited lifespan of these animals, but despite of their limited lifespan, their species can last for longer because throughout their lifespan they are giving birth to the young ones. Okay, so next to that, fifth point, it is one of the main properties of all living forms. So reproduction is the main properties of all living forms, we know that. And sixth point, the existence of each organism is due to the reproduction. We know that we are existed today, and our this existence is only due to the reproduction. Or tomorrow also our species or our progenies will be exist only due to the reproduction. If we reproduce, then they will exist. Types of reproduction: there are two types of reproduction: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So we will talk first of all about the asexual reproduction. Okay, so in case of asexual reproduction, first point, lower animals most commonly reproduces asexually. We know that the lower animals, these are the simple animals or primitive animals. Okay, and higher animals, these are the advanced animals, they are having the complex body systems. In case of lower animals, the simple body systems are over there. So these simple animals, like the animals or organisms from phylum Protozoa, Porifera, Coelenterata, etc., etc., so mostly they commonly reproduces asexually. Okay, also sexual reproduction is seen in them. Okay, they also reproduces by sexual reproduction too, but most commonly reproduction that is seen in the lower animals is asexual reproduction, because all the lower animals do not reproduces by the sexual reproduction. Second point, they do not show meiosis. Okay, they do not show any gamete formation, or there is no fusion of the gametes, because in asexual reproduction mitosis is seen. Number third point, only a single parent involved in the production of offspring. What is happening in the asexual reproduction? The word itself suggests asexual, that means there is no involving of the two sexes, only single sex or only single parent is involved, and that single parent will give birth to the young ones, or from that single parent the offsprings will be produced. So single parent is involved over there. Next, number fourth point, daughter cells also called offsprings or progeny. That means the daughter cells that are formed, they are called as progeny or the offsprings. And these offsprings or progeny, they are genetically similar to their parents. You know, in asexual reproduction, from a single parent the two daughter cells are going to produce, or the offspring is going to produce. That means there is no mixing of the genetic material. Okay, there is no mixing of genetic material, and if there is no mixing of genetic material from another organism or from another partner, the young one that is produced by the process of asexual reproduction, okay, it is mostly similar to their parents in maximum cases, and hence it is called as the clone. Number fifth point, the lower animals, they reproduces asexually by gemule formation or and budding. So these are the two methods in the asexual reproduction that are seen in the lower animals. So first of all, we will see about the gemule formation. Okay, so what is a gemule formation? Before that, we should know that gemule formation is takes place mostly in the sponges. Okay, sponges, these are the organisms belonging from the phylum Porifera. So these are the invertebrates and belonging from phylum Porifera. So sponges not only reproduces by asexual reproduction, they also reproduces sexually too. Okay, but when they reproduces asexually, when they reproduces sexually, that is considered, or that is selected by them. Okay, I'll see that. So asexual reproduction in sponges, sometimes it is also taken place by the budding. Okay, but here we are going to talk about the gemule formation. So keep in mind, sponges also reproduces sexually as well as asexually. Okay, and asexually sponges reproduces by two methods. One is the budding and second one is the gemule formation. And sexually they reproduces by the formation of ova and the formation of sperms. Okay, in sexual reproduction sperm and ova are over there. Now the question is that if we says sponges reproduces by the gemule formation as well as by budding asexually, means when sponges reproduces by the budding and when they reproduces by the gemule formation. So this is the point to be discussed. When the conditions are favorable, okay, when all the conditions are favorable, then the sponges they reproduces by the budding method. Okay, and when the conditions are not favorable, situations are not favorable, that means situations are unfavorable, during that conditions the sponges reproduces asexually by the gemule formation. Okay, so gemule formation is takes place in the adverse conditions, in unfavorable conditions, or when the conditions are not suitable for that adult to stay alive. You know, second point, the gemmules are the internal buds. Okay, gemmules are the internal buds, buds, buds found or formed in these sponges. So what is internal buds? So buds means that is the aggregation of the cells. The cells they the cell division increases, and due to the increasing of the cell division a mass of cells is accumulated, and that mass of cells that is accumulated in these lower animals is called as the bud. So these buds are formed internally in the sponges, and that's why it is the internal bud. Gemule is the internal bud formed in the sponges. Number 3, gemule is an asexually reproduced mass of dormant cells. As I just told right now, so gemmules are the cells, it is the mass of cells, okay, mass of dormant cells, which are produced asexually, and these gemmules, these are the cells, okay, mass of cells, these gemmules they capable of developing into the new organism or into the adult sponge. Okay, that means when the adult sponge during the unfavorable conditions, if there is drought, or if there is too high temperature, or if there is too low temperature, during these conditions the adult sponge it cannot alive. So what it does, it forms the gemmules, and these gemmules they can tolerate, they can endure such type of adverse conditions, and when the conditions becomes suitable or when the conditions becomes favorable, that time these gemmules they get hatches, okay, they get hatches, and they converted into the new adult organism. So it forms the new sponge, adult sponge finally. Fourth point, gemmules are resistant to desiccation. That means, as I told right now, the adult sponge cannot resist or cannot survive in the desiccation. When there is dry out, in these conditions the adult sponge cannot alive, so it produces the gemmules. Okay, gemmules are resistant to the desiccation, gemmules are resistant to the freezing or anoxia, that is the lack of oxygen. So during all these conditions gemmules can stay resistant, or gemmules can stay alive, we can say. They are resistant to these adverse conditions, advanced environmental conditions. When there is desiccation, when there is freezing, when there is lack of oxygen, the adult sponge will die. So to avoid such conditions and to perpetuate the species, to reproduce, what this adult sponge does, it forms the gemmules, and these gemmules, when the favorable conditions comes, at that time it get converted into the adult sponge. Okay, so gemmules can alive for a longer time period. In this slide or in this figure, I have shown over here asexually reproduced cells. This is the mass of the dormant cells, and these dormant cells, they are the gemmules, and these gemmules they reproduce into new adult organism, or that is the adult sponge, when these dormant cells means the inactive cells, these are inactive due to the adverse conditions, and when the conditions becomes suitable, they get converted into the new sponge. Next slide. In this slide we can see this is the figure of the gemmule, how the gemmule is formed. So as I told, gemmules are formed in the sponges if we take the example of the Cycon or Skypha, okay, in that the gemmules are formed. So this is the structure of the gemmules. You can see the shape is oval or somewhat spherical, and in the center you can see the archaeocytes. These are the cells, okay. Archaeocytes are the cells which are aggregated in the center, okay. Centrally aggregated cells are called as archaeocytes, and surrounding to the archaeocyte there is layer that is called as inner layer, okay. Surrounding to the archaeocyte there is layer that is inner layer, which is formed by the amoebocytes, okay. So amoebocytes are the main cells found in the main cells or the cells that are found in the cycon or sponges, and they get converted into the archaeocytes. So surrounding to the archaeocyte, the inner layer is formed, viscous inner layer is formed by the amoebocyte. Then later at the periphery you can see there is outer layer. In between the inner layer and outer layer you can see the spicules are over there, spicules, okay. These spicules, these are the they maintain they gives support to that particular organism, okay. It is a supporting system, or spicules forms the skeleton in the Skypha or in the Cycon or in the sponges, okay. So it is a skeletal part, and it is monoxon. That means it contains only a single ray. So monoxon spicules are found formed in the sponges. So at the apical end you can see there is one opening, and that opening is called as micropyle, okay. That is micropyle, and you can see that the inner layer communicates with the outer layer with that micropyle, because inner layer it is coming upward, and it is giving the opening, and that opening is going out through the outer layer. So inner layer communicate with the outer layer by an opening, and that opening is called as micropyle. So we can see in this figure, this is the complete structure of the gemmule. Centrally archaeocytes are there, and these archaeocytes remain over there until the favorable conditions comes. If the favorable conditions comes, then these archaeocytes they goes out of the out of this structure, okay, through the micropyle. So micropyle is the opening. When conditions become suitable, then the archaeocytes they goes out of the structure through the micropyle, and they hatches into the new sponge. So this is the gemmule. Now let's discuss about the structure of gemmule. Structurally, gemmule is formed of amoebocytes and archaeocyte. Just right now I told, and it is surrounded by a layer of spicules. I have told spicules, okay. Let's keep in mind spicules are found in all adult sponges, okay. They are found in all adult sponges, as well as spicules are found in the gemmules. What is the function of spicules? They forms the skeletal, as well as they gives protection to that particular sponge or to that gemmule, so that the predators will not eat them or they will not harm them. So to the defense mechanism, in the defense mechanism the spicules works. Second point, spicules provide skeletal support in all sponges. Third point, spicules are formed of calcium carbonate or silicon also, okay. So they are formed of either calcium carbonate or silicon. They pre-exist in all sponges, but gemmule is formed only during the unfavorable conditions, as I told. Point fourth, amoebocytes are mobile cells found in invertebrate, okay. Amoebocytes, these are the mobile cells found in the invertebrates such as echinoderms, mollusks, and sponges. Amoebocytes also get converted into the archaeocytes. Amoebocytes are the cells, they can get converted into archaeocytes, and archaeocytes they are also the totipotent cells which later on get converted into the adult sponges. Number fifth, in sponges amoebocytes are also known as archaeocytes, and the archaeocytes can get converted into any cell type and also can develop into new organism. Point number seventh, archaeocytes get coated by thick resistant layer of secretion by amoebocytes. We can see that surrounding to the archaeocyte there was a layer, inner layer, and that inner layer is formed by the amoebocyte, okay. Point number 8, gemmules can survive in conditions that would kill adult sponges. Just remember this point. Gemmules can survive in conditions that would kill the adult sponges. That means the adult will die in the adverse conditions. So to reproduce, to perpetuate the species, these adults, they forms the gemmules. Okay. Number 9, when the environment becomes favorable, the gemmules resumes growing. Okay, when the situations becomes favorable, it again grows and develop into the new sponge. Okay, so we will stop here, and in next lecture we will talk about the budding and regeneration in planaria. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe the channel and share the video. Thank you.